Welcome everyone to ACES Live, our monthly webinar series offered exclusively to ACES members with education that pays. Topics to help your business thrive. Your host today is myself, Jim Reed, the VP of Repair ACES, and Mike Parninsky, ACES Executive Director. Today, we welcome Ms. Cheryl Barlow, owner and CEO of Barlow Business Services, LLC. In just a moment, Cheryl will share valuable social media tips and tricks for repair shops, including learning helpful social media platform stats, discover the best platform for your business, get 10 best social media post ideas, and receive tips on how to easily manage your shop's social media. Following Cheryl's presentation, we will open things up for questions and answers. Mike will be monitoring the chat feature and share any questions that show up in our chat box. So to start today's webinar, Cheryl, thank you for being here, and we're here to listen and learn. So the floor is all yours. Thanks, Cheryl.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for that introduction. Yeah, it's really good to be here today talking about social media tips and tricks for repair shops. Jim and I upped the game a little bit. I went from 10 post ideas to 12, so a little added bonus today. So yeah, I'm a social media manager. I have a social media marketing firm, and I work with a lot of different clients. So I've got some examples, real life examples to show you all today. But yeah, today, we're going to cover some things I'm hoping will be helpful for you all out there. We're going to talk about what platforms you should consider, and we're going to talk about stats when it comes to that, and not just looking at what you like and don't like. We're also going to talk about the most important thing to include in your post, and I'll reveal that in a few slides. It's pretty simple, but it's a good thing to remember. We have 12 post ideas for repair shops so that you can get kind of unstuck and have some ideas of what to post. And then best practices on how to manage it, because nobody has time. I hear that again and again from my clients, and that's why I work with them, is because they don't have the time to do it. They're busy running their businesses. And then at the end, we're going to do a bonus rapid fire tips on how to take good pictures with your iPhone, which is helpful for social media, or really just for your life too. All right, so when we talk about what platforms to consider, there's a lot of platforms out there. Oh, sorry. We've got the normal. We've got Facebook and LinkedIn, and there's Instagram and Twitter, some new platforms like Getter and YouTube, of course. YouTube is a social media platform, and it's an important one because YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So there's just a few up on the screen. There's actually about 400 social media platforms. So it gets confusing and overwhelming. You do not have to be on all of them to be very effective in social media. Plus, it's tough to manage multiple platforms. So the way you decide what platform you should be on is looking to see where your target customer is. And a lot of people will throw out their opinions on what the best social media platforms are. And some people really dislike some platforms, and some people love other platforms. But what you want to do as a business owner is you want to look at where the people are. And the number one platform in the world by users is Facebook, almost 3 billion users. And daily, there's almost 2 billion people on Facebook. So not only are they signed up for it, they also use it. I'm sure you all have social media platforms you've signed up for, and then you never use it. We want to look at who's using them. So Facebook is the most used. Instagram is second. You also need to consider, though, Instagram is great for, like a floral shop or something that's very visual. So you want to decide if, the platform even is right for you or not. LinkedIn, of course, is great to reach the business people. Then you have Twitter. I'm kind of on the fence about Twitter right now. There's a lot of strange things going on in that world. And it's great if you're a sports star or a TV star. For a repair shop, it's really not necessary. If you're looking to eliminate a platform, that might be one to eliminate. And then there's newer ones like Getter. And I just wanted to show you that because it is new. It's gotten some buzz out there, but they have 3 million people signed up. About 400,000 people a day is all that uses it, which is about 1% of the US. So always look at the data and look at the stats when making these decisions. And for this audience, we're going to talk a lot about Facebook. It can be translated into other platforms as well, but Facebook is a no-brainer for this, this type of audience. All right, what to post? Social is made for being social. So the pro tip is 80-20 rule. 80% of your posts should be social, and then 20% can be, just straight out marketing your business. That's not to say that when you post something social, like, if you look at this picture, it could be, hey, the crew's, congratulating Jim on getting that new certification. So that has a lot of social to it, but it also is talking a little bit about your business, that your techs have a new certification, but you want to be more social than salesy. And the most important thing to include on your posts, survey says, pro tip, get a human in every photo. There's something deeply psychological about us seeing another face. That's why 90% of the covers on any given newsstand have a face on them, if you think about a magazine cover. And in social media, 38% of a post with a photo in it is 38% more likely to get likes and engagement than one without. So just kind of think about that. Sometimes you want to take a picture of maybe your fleet, for example. Well, holler at Harry here, I've named him, and ask him just to pop in the picture. It will get you more engagement, more likes. And Harry might have a whole lot of Facebook friends, and they'll, see the photo because he has shared it to his personal page. All right, I'm going to show you a real life example of how this works. So this is a heating and cooling company, an HVAC company. They have two of us actually posting to their Facebook page. There's a company that posts for them because they are a Train dealer. So they have very graphics, specific type posts that often push Train, which is great. And then I am sort of boots on the ground. And what I do is I get pictures of his staff and doing particular jobs. Sorry, I keep clicking on our pictures and then it makes it go. Okay, so there's a picture of the staff. And, it's not a super professional one, but they're all looking at the camera, and just look at these numbers at the bottom, the difference. So this is the same platform, Facebook. The graphic alone reached 61 people and got 3 engagements. The graph of the people reached 3,800 people and had 503 engagements. So quite a difference, when you put a face in there. And these guys just happen to be very active on social, and their wives are very active and supportive, and they share their posts like crazy. So sometimes you kind of hit some gold, by putting their faces on. All right. So I want to go through now some kind of rapid fire post ideas specifically that you can talk about when you post to, any of your social media platforms, because sometimes you get stuck. So the first post idea is, of course, progress. Show your work. It is what the customer is buying after all. And you kind of want to focus it on what your unique selling proposition is, or your USP, what sets you apart from your competitor. For example, if you are using a new diagnostic tool that does, fill in the blank, what does it do? You want to show a picture of that. And ideally, it would be great if one of the technicians was holding it at the same time or had it in use. So show your work. Post idea number 1. Post idea number 2, this is where we're going to be social. Shout out to a supplier or a company or the donut shop across the street that you frequent. And it lets you build a relationship with other businesses, and it gives you an opportunity to publicly thank them. It builds goodwill, and you thank them for whatever it is, going above and beyond, hitting a tight deadline, doing exceptional work, that type of thing. And then you tag them. So what that means is we're going to tag them in a post. Like I went back to the HVAC company example, and they are doing some plumbing or heating and cooling work in a new construction home that's going to be in the parade of homes that is put on by the builders. So we list the builder and we tag them. So they got notification. They shared it on their page, and the Builders Association shared it. And then everybody that belonged to the builders had a chance to see it, and it was shared a few more times off of their page. So it's a really good way to build goodwill. All right, and then one more quick example. Here's the bank. Here's a bank that I work with. I want to make sure I got to the right slide. Yes, I did. Again, a graphic, really nice graphic. And you need to do this. Sometimes you need to post what your services are and what you're offering, like they're doing online banking. So we did a post about that. It reached 271 people, same platform. We did a post to build goodwill and tag other businesses. And we did a business spotlight on Hooten Ole Smitty's Tavern. It's in one of the branches, small towns. The town has about 50,000 people in it. And if you see the numbers at the bottom, this post reached 9,000 people on the same platform versus 271. It had 1,048 engagements and it was shared 49 times. So, and that's just a little small town tavern, but very popular, good social media following. All right, next idea. I think this is one of the most important. Show off your employees. They are your business after all, and they are the ones that are going to, help to share and magnify your message on social media. So how do you show off your employees? The list is endless, but let's just run through a few of them. Highlight when they went above and beyond. Wish them a happy birthday. Congratulate them on an award. Show a picture of a fun item they may have on their desk. Congratulate them on a work anniversary. Discuss their important role in the business. It doesn't have to be a long blog article or anything. You could just say what they do and why it's important with their photo of their face, of course. Post a positive review they received from a customer. And highlight any additional training or certification they've received. So there's all kinds of ways to show off employees, and these posts are very popular and they get a lot of engagement. Facebook, for instance, likes it because it improves their edge rank rating, which means your post will be shown more in people's timelines. So again, if you look at the bank graphic photo that reached 271 people, then we did one showing an employee having a 10-year anniversary. And this had reached 271 people. And the one with Trevor reached 1,347, got 10 comments and 3 shares. So I'm a broken record here, but show people's faces, show off your employees. Post idea number 4, close up on details, because it is the details that matter. If there is something really special you do, for instance, on a repair or a special piece of equipment, take a close up and describe it. And what's even better is having somebody's hands and face in there, as you're doing it. Again, it's kind of a unique selling proposition and it sets you apart. Post idea number 5. This is a pretty big one too. Share your knowledge, provide some tips. This could be make your engine last longer by doing this, get better gas mileage by, if X occurs, it's time for service. Those are just some starter ideas on how you can do a providing tips, sharing your knowledge type of post. And, for instance, you can even link off to, if you have a YouTube channel, tips that you have sitting there on your YouTube channel. And that's an excellent way to tie and string together your social media platforms. Here's an example of one for the HVAC company. And this post reached 193 people. And if you remember, the static posts typically are only around 60 people that are reached with it. And then the other one reached, that is a video as well on YouTube, 167 people. Had 7 engagements, it had a few shares. This one had 3 shares. So it's a good idea to share your knowledge. Doing it through video is fantastic if you can do that, or just a graphic and sharing a helpful tip. Post idea number 6. You want to share your team taking a break or having fun. So if you like have a grill behind the shop and you guys do little grill outs, snap a picture of the team. Here's my pro tip. Ask the employees to look at the camera and wave when you do this, raise their drink, take a bite out of their burger. Because if you look at this picture, for example, these 2 gentlemen are looking at the camera. You feel like you're involved with their day. They're inviting you in versus just kind of sneaking up on people and taking a picture of their backside. People don't like that. So, have them look at the camera, wave, and be engaged. Post idea number 7, share industry statistics. People love looking at visuals and data and graphs, and this will help them visually understand your industry a little bit better. It will also help convey, extra costs that go into things, so that relates to why you charge what you do for your product. It helps them understand timelines. Here's something that we do for ACES. This is truck driver facts, and these were easy to find on the web. I sourced them as well, but 40% of truck drivers take their pets on the road to reduce loneliness. And that was a really popular post. Just stuff is out there. You can find great facts, and you probably have great facts that you can share. And it doesn't have to be a fancy graphic. It can, just putting a number in there is something that really sticks in people's minds psychologically. Post idea number 8, brag about those awards that you get. You don't have to keep that a secret. If you won awards, you want to tell people about it, because if it's an employee winning the award, it really gives them a big shout out, and it gives your business instant credibility and provides a bit of an edge. Post idea number 9, we're getting to number 12 here soon. Share photos of your family or pets. So here's how you can do this. These are super popular when you do them. If, for instance, your child or one of your employees' children visit the shop, get a photo of them after you ask for permission, of course, possibly with a tool in their hand, and then caption it, future master diesel technician. Those are super popular, and 99% of the time, people are very happy to have their child in a photo that's on your social media. Pet photos, also a big, big hit. For instance, this is the bank again. And if you remember that graphic photo, which is a typical baseline type of graphic that we do, it would reach 271 people. For National Dog Day, we had a bunch of the employees send in pictures of them with their dog. And this post reached 7,770 people. And it was shared 45 times, and it had 575 engagements. Very, very popular post. People love dogs, they love kids, so use them whenever you can. All right, post idea number 10, testimonials. You have testimonials. I'm certain everybody out there has testimonials somewhere. And lots of times when I bring this up with a client, they go, yeah, don't we have a file somewhere with them written down? That's great if you do, but you know what? They're out there all over the web too. They're probably in your social media environment already. Google, of course, Google reviews. The way you find those is really simple. You just enter your business name, not the URL, just your name. And on the top, on the right-hand side of the Google search page is you see a map and the name of your business, and there's a little blue line that says Google reviews. In this company, for instance, they have 167 5-star reviews. They had 100% 5-star reviews. So there it is, just testimonial gold in there. And you can do testimonials a lot of different ways. You can just have the text up there. I like to incorporate it with faces because that's my favorite thing to do. And then oftentimes, if you read through those testimonials, whoever is leaving the testimonial will actually name an employee. Danny did a great job on our project. Then you put a picture of Danny with them. Here I just used some of the guys and a little preview of what's to come in a couple slides. This is called a leading line. It's a way of taking a picture that draws a person into the photo and it makes them stick with it a little bit longer. It's just a little psychological trick. It's called a leading line. But testimonials, you should do them as often as you can. Post idea number 11. Remember the hashtag TBT, Throwback Thursday? So that works for businesses too. And these are wildly popular. You know, you probably, a lot of you have a photo vault and with some old photos in there, maybe they're even actual physical photos that are curled up. Well, just, it can be as simple as this, flatten them out, you know, try to get a good lighting on them and taking a picture of it. And that post will go crazy. And the one I've got shown here it's kind of embarrassing to say, although the numbers on it were really good. This client had a picture of a old ad that went in the paper up on the wall of when his father, because there's a lot of history in our businesses out there, opened the shop after he came back from the war. And we posted this this is the platform, Facebook, for them, that typically gets 60-ish type impressions. This got 900, if I can see the number, 960 people were reached, and it was shared 6 times. People love this stuff. There were lots of comments on it too, which I'm not showing, but I could just see that people in the community remembered his father. They remembered when this opened. They remembered the location, and just this cool conversation started underneath the post. Oh, and a pro tip for this: if you've got an old photo and it's in color, try switching it to black and white and posting it. That just gives a kind of a cool little effect to it. So throwback photos. All right, post idea number 12. I think this one's super important. It's our last one as well that I'm going to share with you today. But job postings, because this is something people struggle with today. And it's every industry, and I know it's a lot of yours. So if you need workers, post a job on your social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, on your website, post it anywhere you can, and tell the people what a wonderful company you are to work for. And this example I have here is actually one of ACES. ACES has their recruitment solutions department. Will Newton works on this, and he does a really great job with the social media. Under recruitment solutions, he does a lot of things. He interviews the client and finds out what they really want. And he works, with all the job boards and all of his other sources. And then he uses social media, and he does it almost immediately. One thing Will's not on here today, but I would give him kudos for how quickly he gets these up, because that is the job market today. If you don't get this in front of people right away, and then, part 2, respond to them right away when they reach out in the comments, or they call you, or if you have it click through to an application, he gets back to him right away. He's kind of trying to swoop in there and get the good candidates before other people do. But he really uses social media a lot. He uses all the platforms that ACES has available to him that they're actively using, LinkedIn and Facebook, and of course the website. So, job postings, it's just the best place to do it is on social media. And lots of clients that I talk to say, oh yeah, we should do that on LinkedIn. That's kind of the natural that you think of, and it should be there. And I know Will puts the client's job openings on LinkedIn, but he also uses Facebook. And I personally have had a lot more success, and oftentimes very immediate success. And by immediate, I mean within 24 hours, finding a candidate by using Facebook. And you know why? Because that earlier slide we looked at, it's the #1 platform. It's where everybody's at, and it has the most active users on it. So job postings. I don't know if Jim, you had any more on that you wanted to talk about.
No, I think you hit all the points there. It's everything's time. Like you said, we'll get to post it as quick as possible, and the big thing is responding back as quick as possible. And and that's the key thing. And these social media spots have given Will lots of opportunities to find good candidates for our customers out there. And again, responding back is the big thing. You can post it and it looks good, but if you don't respond quickly, it's not going to help you out.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Will does that very well. But that is a good point to make. If you're going to put your job posting out there, make sure you're going back in and checking the comments, or just seeing, who's sharing it, because that happens a lot too, is people will share it with somebody that they know is looking for a job. All right. So on to how to manage this. So I don't have a bunch of slides here, but I want to talk about this because this is the tough thing for many people. I don't have time. It's not really my area of expertise. So here's what I'd say about that. It may not be your area of expertise. If it is, or you would like to do it, great. But there is somebody within your shop, I'm pretty certain, that does like to work in social media, and that would love it if you tasked them with this. But what I would say, if you use somebody within your company, you should have a meeting with them, maybe share this presentation or other information you have about how to manage social media. You're going to see on the next slide a little tool that helps with that, and let them know what your goals are. And you may be thinking, everybody's in my shop, they're already so busy. Well, what I see a lot is people will, maybe they'll have someone in the office area or an admin. And those admins, they usually have lots of tasks to do. At the same time, if you think they're going to be reluctant because, you know, they already have so many things on their plate, but you know how important it is to do social media, just find a task that you can take away from them that maybe is not that important or giving you a return on investment, and give them social media instead. And then praise them for what they do, you know, and ask them to kind of report back to you, maybe in your weekly meetings, of the numbers. Then the results are very easy to get to. And that is a good way to manage it. I believe interns are a great thing in this business. It is great to get interns in to show them the ropes, to, you know, see if they might be a permanent employee for you someday, but I'm not a fan of it. I know that Jim works with the colleges, and he's really good about getting interns hooked up with different companies. And that's very useful. I'm not a fan of having them handle your social media though, because they're there and then they may be gone. So you might have this great effort going and then it just dies. And secondly, they have access to your digital assets, and they may also start up your YouTube channel for you because it's a great idea, but they did it under their credentials instead of yours. And then you no longer have control of your social media. So I prefer, if a company, I would advise they handle it themselves. Depending on your size and how big of an effort, you can hire somebody outside to do it. You know, just make sure you check their references and make sure they've been doing it a while so they don't disappear on you. But that is, of course, another way to do it. And this is the one tool I use. I use it for all my clients. It works really well, and it's simple. It is a spreadsheet. It is simply a spreadsheet. And what you do is you write down, you know, a bunch of posts that you want to do, because you don't want your social media to be something that you're reacting to. You kind of want to plan it out. Yes, you're going to be reacting to posts because you're going to get, or to certain things that you post because things just come up, like the cookout out back. You go, oh, this would be a cute social media post. But you want to plan it out and get some things in there like, oh, we are closed every President's Day. Let's get that on here. Let's get the closed holidays on here. Employee anniversaries, you know, those happen every year on the same day. You can put those on there. If you are sponsoring some kind of a nonprofit gala or event, and you just want to kind of have it visually in front of you so that you can look at it and go, oh, we're not being very social on here. We're being really salesy. We need to get some more social items in there. Then when the year flips over, you've got this big history on one sheet, and you can actually reuse a lot of it because Joe's going to have another anniversary on March 20th, for instance. That is simply how I manage it. It is so much easier when you have it on a spreadsheet in front of you. All right, we're gonna rapid fire through this part, but this is fun, and it's one of my favorite things, is how to take better photos with your smartphone, because smartphones take great photos. And if you just know a few little tips and tricks, you can make some really good looking photos for your social media or just for yourself. So we're going to kind of go through some of these. And the pro tip is, my clients know this very well. Always take the picture horizontal, not vertical, because it fits in a Facebook or Instagram post a lot better. So that's one of my pro tips. Tell people to look at the camera. Don't sneak up on them and take a picture of their backside. They don't like that, and it doesn't look good. I have done that to a few people, and I learned really quickly, don't do that. And then use the editing tool on your camera. Super simple. When you pull up the photo, there's a little edit button, and just play around with it. You're not going to break anything, but it allows you to lighten up the picture, crop it, maybe crop out the garbage can. That's my other pet peeve, is when people get a picture of the garbage can in there. So play with the editing tool. The background. Let's take a look at that. Oh, look, there's a garbage can. my pet peeve. So, just be aware of what's in the background and what kind of lighting the person has on them. So the first tip is to look at the background. So here, for instance, this employee, maybe she's standing up by a garbage can or a side of the building, just move her a little bit and say, hey, stand in front of our beautiful trucks. And you've got a much more interesting photo that way. And then you can ask them to pose a little bit. You'd be surprised how many people can really pose naturally, and you're going to get something good out of it. And for a picture to come out like this, I'd probably snap 5 or 6 of them, and I'd go at different angles, and you're going to get a good photo out of it. Number 2, let's see. Sorry, my little box is covering it. Provide a sense of scale. So for instance, if you've got something small, put it by something big. That's another trick to make a photo really interesting, like we did with this child in front of a truck. And leading lines, you heard me say that earlier. This is a psychological trick in people's minds visually. If you have lines leading into the person or the focus of your photo, that draws people in, something about the lines. So we're going back to our woman here, stuck her between 2 trucks. And leading lines, you see how those are leading in and past her? It makes for a much more interesting photo. You can do leading lines using people too. Here's a photo. All right, this is just a personal photo. It was a Thanksgiving I was at, but they were standing there, prepping the food, and I just hollered at them, and they turned and looked, and I asked Missy to lean in, and it just came out to be a really interesting photo, and they loved it so much. They put it on Facebook, and they had all kinds of response, and they actually had it printed, and it is one of their family photos now. So you can use people to line up like that. Just make sure you can see everybody. Shoot from behind to draw the viewer into the experience so that they feel a part of what you're experiencing. As in this motorcycle photo, you feel like you are the rider going down the road. That's a fun way to make it more interesting. And then experiment with different angles. I showed this presentation to Mike and Jim earlier, and I know Jim doesn't love this photo. It's the only example I have. So I am breaking my rule and shooting somebody from behind here, but Leslie knew it. And what I did was I stood up on top of a chair and took the photo down, and it feels like you're in the bowling alley, and it just kind of gives a cool angle to the subject matter. And, it's better than shooting something straight on, or you just try some different shots and you'll find a good one on your camera roll. Sorry, Jim, I had to use it. And then the last one is add a prop. So if you're taking a picture of someone, have them grab something or hold something in their hand, or, stand up on a toolbox. It just makes for a more interesting photo there. So there's your quick fire tips on how to take a little bit better photos. We all want to take better photos with our smartphone. And then you have subject matter for your Facebook page and your other social media environments. So just kind of to recap, to talk about the hot points, the favorite ones from here is add a human to every social media post you can. Be social at least 88% of the time, not salesy. Manage it using a spreadsheet, not an intern. Interns are great, but not for your social media. And photos, horizontal photos, not vertical. So that is kind of, quick down and dirty, some social media tips that I hope are helpful for you to, be able to manage, get some good content out there, and give you some ideas to post. And I really want to thank ACES for inviting me to talk about this in their Education That Pays series. I think it's very cool that they provide this education for their members, so that, a little education helps us all along. And we all, we're so busy with running our businesses. Sometimes it is tough to get the learning in that you need to get in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you very much, Cheryl. You did a great job. We appreciate your presentation, and there's a lot to learn there. Let me ask Mike, did we get anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to ask Cheryl?
Yeah, we certainly do. Again, this is Mike Parnisky, Executive Director of ACES, and thank you, Cheryl, for coming on. It's very informative, and it's something that you feel intuitive about, but yet there is a science and a sort of a best practice behind that. And thank you for sharing that with our members and our our business owners, because a lot of us feel like we know social media, but it's really such an important part of your marketing that you forget that some of this intentional stuff really does need to be proactive. But one of the things we learned, and Jim and I doing trade shows and going out, is that when you feel a moment is a social media moment, you got to seize it, because it'll be there and gone before you know it. So having that camera and having somebody say, hey, when this happens, be ready to get a picture or capture the moment, that becomes gold, as you said, that can be used in post. And again, it's part of your business, it's part of your story, but it's most importantly, it's about your people. But you got to have that phone in hand. You got to kind of have in your mind, top of mind, that could happen any moment. So be ready. So it's sort of a consciousness thing. And we've kind of taken your advice and done that. A couple of questions come in, and I really like this one. This one came in, I'm not sure which member it was, but what should we absolutely be doing that we probably are not? I mean, all the things you share, but just sort of like what rises up that we are not doing that we probably absolutely should do.
That is a really good question. I think the number one thing is managing it, managing it and planning it section, even though that's not the funnest, sexiest part of it. If you don't have a plan put together, the spreadsheet or some way of planning out what you're going to post, and picking someone to really head up the social media effort, then you're probably not going to be really successful at it. So be intentional, have a plan, and you're going to get better at it just by doing it, honestly. So that part's important as well, knowing how to do it, but have a plan.
All right, here's one just came through. What about TikTok? Where do you find a place for TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok is the new hot social media platform. It is all over. And what's great about TikTok, if you can use it, is you can pull it into all your other social media platforms. We see it in Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And here's the challenge with TikTok, though. The video has to be entertaining and compelling to people. So, if you try to get on there and be funny and you're not, you might kind of fizzle. But a good thing to do with TikTok is a how-to. A how-to or a demonstration, a really short video. It would probably be best for a repair shop, honestly.
Okay. Another one was a biggest watch out not to do. I mean, it's sort of like it comes to mind.
Yeah. What I would say there is you should have some rules with your social media. Like you should never post anything political. You should never post anything that's divisive, that type of thing. You may have opinions certain ways or want to support certain things, but just be really careful about that. I even say, because I am from Minnesota originally, I tell my clients, do not post anything about the Green Bay Packers, because you're going to make Minnesota fans, Viking fans angry, and vice versa. Be careful about posting things about Minnesota Vikings, because we have a lot of Green Bay Packer fans here. So just, kind of common sense things like that. Think about your audience and how they will receive what you're putting out there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, it's terrific. I mean, I think of social media. I look at my daughters, they're 16 and 14. And everything you want to know about social media, you can get from them. And they're on TikTok all the time. And I always wonder what that was. So it looked pretty interesting and entertaining. I'm not sure how it fit in, but apparently the audience numbers make it very compelling. So that was a good question.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. Jim, you got anything?
No, I think we're good. And Cheryl, thank you very much. We're looking forward to our next Education and Pay series that we'll have during the month of March for our members to view. But hopefully everybody will be able to start watching this in our library also, if they didn't get to see it today live. This will be available for our members to view in the library. So again, thanks for everybody who attended. Thanks, Cheryl, for the great presentation, and Mike for gathering the questions. I think we're good. Anything else, Mike?
No, I'm good here. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody.